This is the time to apply the laws of the cosmos to every one of your challenges. This is the time to apply all of the laws of the cosmos to every one of your challenges, to approach every problem through mystical reasoning and not that of an ordinary reasoning, which will draw you backwards into your history. For looking backwards at what you used to do or how you used to do something will not work anymore. So many people have contacted me to discuss what they should do next because their lives are melting down around them. And my counsel to them is yet another mystical law, which is learn to think in paradox. That is, paradox is one of the fundamental expressions of the divine. What looks like an ending is really a beginning. What looks safe is really fear-talking. What looks riskiest is really the way to go. Paradox is my psycho force, and when it is present in your life, rest assured that the divine is equally present in the event. Haven't I told you that? God will never take you where he cannot protect you. She will not take you where she cannot protect you. The divine, the divinity will not. I tell my stories about the New York event, the power going off, and being stuck, and me looking at this situation and going, this is not for me. This is not my perception of where I'm going to spend the night. It's taking control of the situation and thinking outside the box. To me, as Carolyn says, is a time of great hope, because when chaos abounds, so does opportunity. And it can look as if the field of opportunity is bleak, but that is simply not true. As I teach my students, whether you are healing an illness or maneuvering through change, you must keep your attention in the present in order to precede intuitive instructions. Hello? You want guidance from God and from above? Then listen. Sit down, have your quiet time. Ask your angels, what do I need to do in this situation? Show me a sign. They always do. Always, 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 always. Last week on Wednesday, I was feeling so well, we went shopping. And we went out to West Shore Mall and to the card shop. And I got all my cards. And I was weak, and I admit it, I was a little run out of gas. I didn't have any pain, but I went to sit down. And as I approached the only chair that was available, I see something round and shiny on the seat. And I looked at it, and it was a buffalo head nickel. In the chair, and it was from my father, because we used to joke that he could probably squeeze everything that was left out of the buffalo off a nickel. And I know he left it for me. He was a coin collector, and he had all these buffalo nickels, so you tell me that my father didn't leave that nickel for me? I know he did. You got to pay attention to all those little subtle signs that God and your angels are always walking with you, that this is an incredible time. And you know what's so wonderful about it? You're involved in it, and you're awake. And you're doing your work. Last week, your angels, your guides said to you, the only thing wrong with your spiritual growth, if you're not making any progress, is you. You're the only one that's holding yourself back, nobody else. You got a green light. And what a better time right now, when all of the energies and the collective consciousnesses and all the planets are aligned. I mean, I didn't do all of this stuff and all of those things we did all those years. Come on, let's talk about it. The grid, firing the grid. Remember that, Lisa? We fired the grid. We did the blessing of the water. I mean, all of those things you have been involved in. Be grateful that we have a place. I will have this newsletter in its entirety on the website. If you would like a copy, we'll certainly be able to do that for you. There's still a few more pages, but I feel that it's prudent right now that you understand the incredible work that you are involved in, and all you have to do is just show up and say yes. That's it. Just say yes. And you will not lose your connection to the divine. Before I close, I want to have a moment to say hello to Angie Gomez. We had a long conversation yesterday, and I want to share this with the congregation because Margarita and Betty and so many of you know who Angie is, that she's been suffering for years with a chronic bladder situation, continuous infections, so much so that they were talking about removing the bladder and putting in an alternative. And so when I told her about Sunday, because she worries about my health, if she doesn't see me on the Sunday morning, she's like freaked out, something happened to me. So I'm always giving her a little word. Angie, here I am. See, I feel wonderful. But I was talking to her about our special prayer on Sunday that we sent all this healing out, and she started to cry, and she said, I went to the doctor on Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he came into the room and he said, do you believe in miracles? And I said, well, yeah. She said, I do. And he said, well, I can't explain it, so I'm going to call this a miracle because this is the first time that you do not have a bladder infection. There's no infection. And she started to cry, and he said, I don't know what to tell you. All I can tell you is that it's gone. So she walked outside, and it was snowing. And the sun was shining so brightly, and she said, all I could see was the sun, and I had this grin on my face, and I felt so blessed, and I thought about my Harmony home, and I knew that this was a healing from God. And she said, it looked as if I wasn't even really on the planet, that there was some dimension with the snow and the sun and everything. So Margarita and Betty Angie is great. No infection. Can you imagine that?
She's coming in March.
I know she is. She said, am I going to be here? I said, of course. God wouldn't send you down to Florida and me not be here. Of course I'm going to be here. So to you, Angie, your family at Harmony, we revel in your miracle. And I've had one too. So all we can say is thank you. If you will please just turn very quickly to the inside back cover so I can fulfill my obligations to the foundation.